Mesopotamia is fertile land in between two rivers, the Tigris and the Euphrates, which today is modern-day Iraq. The people there were called Mesopotamians. They were nomadic people who invented agriculture so that it was possible to stay in the same place for a period of time without hunting or gathering. Mesopotamians invented many things that were to change the world and the way man existed forever. Here are some of the inventions. Maps. The oldest map was discovered in Babylonia in 2300 BC. Babylonia was in Mesopotamia. The map is a partially broken clay tablet and is known as Mudumundi. It was a simple sketch on a clay tablet. Urban civilization. The Sumerian people lived in Mesopotamia from the 27th to the 20th century BCE. They were inventive and industrious, creating villages and then large city-states. These cities were among the first urban civilizations. The Sumerians made bricks out of mud to build temples, called ziggurats, and houses for the people. Agriculture. The Mesopotamians invented farming by discovering that they could plant and harvest crops such as wheat, barley, and cucumbers. They tamed wild goats and sheep, and this was called domestication. The invention of agriculture allowed people to live in one place for extended periods of time. Irrigation and levees. Mesopotamians learned to control the flow of water from the river and use it to irrigate the crops that they were growing. Water was diverted from the river using levees and canals. Levees are embankments built to prevent the overflow of river in flood. Gates would be opened to let the water in, to run along the canals to the crops. The plough. A farmer had a bright idea of hitching his ox to his digging stick, and so the plough was invented. The first plough was called the ard, and it was made of wood. The sailboat. Square boats with sails made of cloth were initially used to cross the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers. The direction of the sail could not be changed, so one had to wait for the wind to blow in the direction that one wanted to travel. The sailboat was used to transport goods and people across the rivers, creating trade relationships and trade routes. Sailboats were also used for fishing. The wheel. The wheel was invented in 3500 BC in Mesopotamia. It was made out of clay, rock, and mud. The earliest use of the wheel was for pottery. 300 years later, the wheel was used for transportation. It was made of stone and later of wood. The wheel is also used for irrigation, pottery, milling, and luxury transportation for the rich. The chariot. The invention of the wheel led to the invention of the chariot. It was a moving platform with two wheels that was drawn by one or more horses or oxen. The chariot was first used in funeral processions and then in warfare, racing, and hunting. Cuneiform. Perhaps one of the most important inventions by the Mesopotamians was a system of writing called cuneiform. Cuneiform was developed during the period from 3500 to 300 BCE. The Latin word cuneus means wedge. Cuneiform was a wedge-shaped style of writing. A reed stylus was used as the writing implement, and it was pressed into a soft clay to produce wedge-like impressions. Sumerians first invented writing as a means of long-distance communication, which was needed by trade and to keep stock of animals and produce.
Originally, Sumer was made up of two parts: rural farmland, where they grew crops like wheat and barley, and a central city, where you would find a main temple, shops, and homes. This layout led to the formation of the city-state, meaning a political unit made up of a central city and all the countryside around it. Sumerians had many accomplishments that continue to impact our lives today. They were the first people to build wheeled vehicles such as carts. Sumerians invented the plow, which greatly increased agricultural production. And they developed a math system based on the number 60, dividing a circle into 360 degrees and a year into 12 months, measurements that we still use today. Sumerians also built large, pyramid-shaped temples called ziggurats, and some of them have walls that are still standing today. Cylinder seals, the Sumerians' greatest artistic achievement, were made as a way of labeling possessions and telling stories. And most importantly, Sumerians developed cuneiform, the world's first system of writing. Using cuneiform, scribes, or writers, kept government records, wrote down trade activities, and composed poems about gods and epics about heroes. One such poem is the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the world's greatest and oldest works of literature. Thank you for watching.